Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Generation Y, 4:30 till 5:30 every Sunday on IQRA TV. I'm your host Talha, and as usual with the peers Bilal Khan.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam. Osama and Dawood.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam. Today's topic is on money. As you know, money has a big impact on today's youth. And youth find different ways of making money, legal and illegal ways, selling drugs on the street. But the other problems of the youth actually know about money, and you know there's figures that show that youth actually want to know about money but they can't find out about it. Is this due to their parents or is it due to teachers? But there is a saying that if you think that money doesn't buy happiness, then you don't know how to spend. I've got a question for any of you who want to answer it. Do you think that money buys happiness?
Yeah, I think money can get a lot. It depends what term you mean it in, because some people will say that people are really rich, for example, like all these pop stars, for example, really rich, and they've got everything, they don't know what to spend their money on. So it's like they're a bit like, once you've got everything, you think, what I've done. Like now, when you play a game and you complete all the levels, you think, what do I do with it? You just delete it. It's like that. People, they'll buy everything, but they'll never be happy, and that's why it leads to other things like drugs, like you mentioned, and stuff like that, which causes a bit of an issue for them, and end up with them dying, which isn't good at a young age too, with so much potential and stuff. But I think money, if I had a lot of money, it'd bring me happiness, yeah, but I'd have to spend it in the right ways and make sure it's spent in the right means. But what I mean by that is like halal ways, not where I'm spending on stuff that I shouldn't be spending it on, and that it's all good, and that obviously even like when I give charity, that I give the right amount of charity on it as well.
I feel like money to an extent can buy you like materialistic things, but I don't think that it can actually help you to make yourself a better person, because money just, it's a means to an end at the end of the day, and it doesn't really, it does help you in this life, and it helps you, you know, to do certain things, you know, to buy yourself a house, to buy yourself food, to, you know, do your daily things. But at the end of the day, you know, with or without money, like say, you know, from when you were 0 to, you know, 12, you know, I'm sure your money wasn't, you know, a big issue, or it wasn't, you know, something that you needed a lot of, because, you know, you'd be happy with, say, £2 that your grandma gave you, or, you know, £1 that, you know, your uncle gave you, who'd come once in a blue moon, because you'd want to just go buy a crisp packet or some sweets, because that's all you needed. And I think that money, as long as you have it in a sufficient amount, is more than enough for you.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying, Dawood, because I believe that money does buy you happiness up to a certain extent though. So if you've got enough money to buy you food, buy you a nice home and nice clothes, then you need to learn to be able to be happy with that money and be grateful for that. And for some people, they'll be happy with earning like average wage 25k a year, whereas others won't even be happy with 200 because they just want more. They want more materialistic things. But if you can learn to be grateful with the money that you have, then if you've got enough money to buy food and buy clothes, you should be fine.
Dawood, you mentioned before that money, you know, like when we were younger and we used to get money from our parents, £1, £2, and we used to be happy with it, you know, run to the shops and buy some sweets. But as we get older, why do you think this has changed? Why do you think that we want more money and we're not happy with the £5 our parents give us?
That's definitely got something to do with the fact that, like, you know, you go out more. You know, I'm sure as a kid you did go out a lot, but you stayed within a certain distance of your house. And obviously, as you go and venture out into the world, you know, you're basically a lot more vulnerable to a lot of different other things, and there's a lot more things around you. So, you know, as you venture out from your neighborhood, there's more shops, there's more, you know, just stuff to buy, and that's where, you know, you want to buy this and you want to buy that, you want to buy the latest, you know, car, you want to buy the latest, you know, brands, and, you know, that's where, you know, some people kind of lose themselves in that.
It's like, you know, when like now when you're a child, like 4 or 5 years old, you don't know much about designer clothes. It's like, it's something you begin to learn about as you get older. Like now, I only learned about designer clothes when I was in secondary school. Obviously, I hear bits and bats about it. For example, in primary school, I used to want to collect like different cards, like football cards. And I'm sure when you're younger, you collect football cards, for example, or like these little game cards, for example, and trade them and stuff. And you spend all my money on that. But as I got older, I started wanting to buy different things, and And like now, for example, like now say I like to buy designer clothes, I enjoy it. Like now when I go out, I think I don't go out to buy sweets. Obviously, if you see some fancy sweets, think, oh, they look nice or they look cool, you'll get them.
Do you think that's due to peer pressure, or do you think it's influence from friends?
No, not peer pressure. Friends, I think for example, like now, say you got a group of friends and they all like a certain make and they're always talking about it. You think, oh yeah, they're talking about, why do I get someone like that? So then they can think, oh yeah, he's cool on that, he's got that. It's understandable because you want to be part, you want to be like, your friends at the dinner, you want to be like them. It's like now fashion changes, people follow like a certain style of fashion, for example, like I don't know, girls for example like to wear highlight and do all this contouring. Girls will start contouring when they go out. Guys for example might think, oh, like now in fashion it's to wear like trainers with jeans.
With jeans, yeah, with jeans rolled up.
Yeah, above the ankles nowadays. It's in fashion. Like back then, you think, what was that? You'd laugh at it, but now it's come back into fashion. So it's like people follow it.
Yeah, I definitely agree, because you want to do the things that your friends are doing. So if you see your friends wearing nice clothes, or if you see other people wearing nice clothes, then you want to be cool, you want to be like them. So you want to go, and obviously if you want to get that stuff, you've got to pay money. And that's where money comes in. You want the money because you think it's going to make you happy. And obviously you see things on social media where people set big trends, big fashion trends, and you want to stay up to date on that. You want to follow them trends. So to do that, you got to buy the clothes.
Yeah, as you hear a lot as well, like in news, but you see yourself as well around the streets. You know, lots of youth, they use their money on, you know, buying and selling drugs. And you know, most of you must have heard that weed obviously is quite a popular drug within the youth, and a lot of youth, you know, buy, sell it. What do you think about it? What do you think about youth using their money on drugs? And you know, what do you think is due to? Do you think it's due to friends? Do you think it's due to how they brought up? Again, peer pressure?
I think, like, you know, like Bilal said earlier, it depends on, like, if you use that money for the right purpose. And I feel like, you know, if you're, because a lot of people would argue that, you know, using money for that is basically a waste. And that's because, you know, in life, you know, where's that going to help you? It's not really going to help you too much. It's not going to, you know, help you, say, like 5-10 years down the line. It's not going to do anything for you. And that's where, you know, sometimes parents are like, you'd rather save that money and later on. That's why your parents are always encouraging you to like save money, because, you know, later on you're going to have that saved money, and say in a circumstance where you're going to need that money, you'll have that saved up because you know, took that upon yourself and you took that responsibility to go and save that money for the future, and you invested that money into your own future. But when you spend money on stuff like that, you're not really, you know, investing it for your future. You're kind of, you know, doing it for the short term, and it's not for the long term. And some people kind of forget, you know, you should always think about the long term.
This is a bit of a personal question, Dawood. How would you say you spend your own money?
I spend a lot of my money on, I guess, that is a bit of a question, yeah. No, I do. I spend my money on, you know, a lot of, actually, you know, I spend my money on a lot of food at home, on quite a bit of food, and just going out with family and like friends. Actually, yeah, I spend a lot of money going out with friends, because when I go out with my friends, I wanna go and, you know, we all wanna eat somewhere nice, and yeah, we'll eat somewhere nice and we'll go cinemas, bowling, stuff like that, and you end up spending your money but you don't realise it.
Yeah.
But you know, like going back to that question where you mentioned about what like people buy drugs and sell drugs. I know some people, for example, they thought, you know what, let's take initiative. I want some money. Let me work for it. So they've worked in a legitimate place. It's all halal and stuff like that. But there's different things. Like at the end of the day, if you see a drug dealer and you think, oh, he's selling drugs, maybe it's he needs to. I'm not justifying it. At the end of the day, it's wrong. But like now, say his parents say to him, oh, don't work. I don't want you to work in this place. Don't want you to work that place. He's gonna think, what am I gonna do? I need some money. If my parents are not gonna give me money, obviously I don't wanna. At the end of the day, when you're grown up, you think, oh, why do I have to keep asking my parents for money?
Yeah.
Why do I work hard for it? And things. But then your parents discourage you, say, don't work. And then when you find other means of making money, simpler ways where you don't have to go out, spend so many hours, and in a matter of seconds, in a couple of hours, you can make so much money. It's attractive. You think, whoa, I can make that much money. But then you got to remember that in that much money, there'll be no blessing. Like now, you might hear people say that there's three things that happen with dealing drugs. You either end up in jail, you'll have no blessing in your money, and you'll always be sad.
Yeah.
And it's true, if you see all these top drug dealers, where are they? They're either in jail, they're either depressed, or they don't know what to do. Like, you got so many committing suicide. A lot of people are locked up, and at the end of the day, you're not getting away with it because you're gonna always live with that fear in your heart. Like now, when you're going down a road and you turn the corner and you hear, for example, like say you're going down a road and you hear the police sirens, you're gonna think, whoa, you're gonna be worried, thinking, oh, is that for me? And you'll always have that worry. You'll always be on the edge, and it's not a nice feeling.
Yeah, just Bilal, moving away from parents influencing, like Osama said, having a part of, like saying that you don't want to work there, don't work there. Do you think that school plays a part of youth nowadays dealing with drugs and spending money on drugs? Do you think that is lack of education, the education system? Do you think that youth don't like the way they're being taught and that's why they're going out and making their own tactics?
I don't think doing drugs is part of school, because ever since we were little kids or even secondary school, I think we have been taught to a certain extent about the dangers of drugs and why we shouldn't use them. I think the problem is we've been sent to school, and ever since we were little kids we were taught to study hard to get a good job, to make as much money. But if you're in like year 10 or year 11 and you realise, oh, I don't even need to go through all this education to make money, I can just do it on the streets. That's why people start selling drugs, because they think there's easier ways to get money, because they think that money is the key to happiness, like they've been taught ever since they were little kids.
Obviously it's in the news a lot. Do you think that teachers should do something, schools should do something to actually teach the youth about this, about money, about selling drugs, etc.?
Yeah, we're not really taught on stuff like stock market and how to trade and how to disperse earnings. We're taught just to, you study, you get a degree, and then you get a job. Like obviously when you're 18 or 17, 18, 19, you probably have a part-time job, but we'll end up spending it because we don't know how to trade it, how to save it, how to disperse it, how to spend it on different things.
I'm going to put you on the spot as well, Bilal. Well, how would you say you spend your money?
I feel like I spend my money just like Dawood said, just going out, spending it on food, not really knowing where it's going, just on food and clothes. Yeah.
Do you buy designer clothes?
Not too many designer clothes, but just a lot of clothes.
Yeah. So obviously, look, like Dawood and Bilal have said they use their money on clothes, on food. Why do you think that is? Why do you think like loads of money goes on food and clothes?
It's probably because, like, you want to go out with your friends, and just going out with your friends is a really big deal, because you might say, go out with your friends and take out £5, thinking you're only going to spend £5, say on a meal in town. Now when you get into town, say you take your credit card with you as well, what happens is usually your friend will buy something, and then you'll be walking around and you might see something that you like, and because you see that your friend has something in the bag, you're thinking, I think it looks a bit bad, it looks a bit bad that I haven't really bought anything, and then you pick something up, you'll buy it with your credit card, you'll buy it, and then you walk around, and then and that's how your money just gets wasted, like not wasted but spent. And within, again, like Bilal and Osama was saying, in a couple hours, how some people get rich, these people lose their money because we're still 17, 18, and we're not, some people have part-time jobs, some people don't, and the people who don't, they obviously get money off family or family friends, or something like that, of their or special occasions, and they have to save that money and cherish it because they can only spend it on specific occasions, and that money is really vital to them because that money is going to have to last them for a long period of time. And say spending that on, say, clothing or something, sometimes you don't want to spend it on that. That's why some people like to have family members buy them. That's why it comes back to the fact that when family members buy you clothes and stuff like that, we don't really appreciate it because it's not coming out of our own pocket, but they will.
Yeah. Subjects like maths, do you think they should teach you more about how to save your money as well? Like you said, a lot of youth nowadays, they spend their money in like a couple of hours. Do you think that, obviously there's some figures that 87% of youth, they don't know about personal finance, and 35% want to learn about it, and that's mostly 15 to 17 years old. Do you think there's that in schools they should teach us about how to save money?
I think that's definitely important, because at the age of 18 you're leaving, or say even 16 you're leaving, your required time for education, and I feel like they should definitely teach us how to use our money, or like spend it or save it a lot earlier, say in secondary school, because that's our compulsory time in school. So it'd be really good to learn about stuff like that, or otherwise, you know, kids will just use their money like that and they won't realise it.
I think that's a waste of time, to be honest, because parents, what your parents for? Your parents will teach you stuff like that. It's not your teacher's responsibility. Your teacher, you go to school to learn about subjects like math. Math they teach you like. I understand where you're coming from and stuff. They teach you how to budget and stuff. But that's where finance comes into subjects like finance and stuff like that, and business studies. But I think the main people that play a role in that are your parents.
Yeah.
But then some parents might be like, some parents might have where they control the money, whatever money the kid earns, your dad or your mum takes it, or where they give it where you take a certain amount each month, or they give you a certain amount each month, or you whenever you need it, they give you, you take it off. Yeah, but then I think that don't let you build independence there. Okay, yeah, if you've had past issues, trust issues with a few of the things, like now you're not going to, like, if your son's dealt with drugs, you're going to be a bit wary whether to give him the money or not. You know, we've got examples in everyone's day-to-day life. We all know some people that might have done something like this. So it depends on the situation you've got to take into mind.
Yeah, just like Osama said, Bilal, that, you know, your parents are like your first line of defence. They're supposed to teach you. What do you think about it?
I think it should be a bit of both, to be honest. I think in school you shouldn't be taught how to save money, because that should just be simple. You should just go put it in a bank account and it'll still be there in a couple of years. I think you should be taught how to invest it wisely, invest it into like the right businesses, and how to invest it into the right saving account so you have more money at the end of it. I think parents should do a lot as well, but children spend most of their time in school and they're there to learn, so why not just teach them about how to save money as well?
Yeah, do you think that, for example, if you want to buy like £150 shoes, do you think that you should sit down with your parents, or even, you know, teachers, you can say, or friends, and like sit down and make a plan on how we're going to get this £150 for the shoes, for example, save maybe £2 from your dinner money each week? What do you think about planning about your money and what you want to buy?
No, you need to plan that, and you know, there are certain strategies that, you know, that your parents can tell you, and even I feel like to a certain extent your teachers should tell you, because again, like Bilal said, you're spending a good 8-9 hours in school every single day, which is a lot of time compared to staying at home, because that's a lot of your day, and you're coming home for say 3-4 hours and you're going to be spending that, you know, revising or doing whatever you want, or outside the house because you've been cooped up all day, so you want to go out. And you should definitely try to save that money, because how else are you going to buy that? You can't be relying on your parents for the rest of your life, and you know, they should you know, try and not shift but kind of introduce that responsibility to you.
Yeah, but obviously that's not for everyone. For example, you know, some people are brought up in very rich families. What would you say about them? You know, people who are brought up in rich families, they've got the money, they don't need to worry about spending, they can spend how much they want. What do you think about it? Do you think even parents that are rich and children that are born into rich families, do you think parents should tell them or have a plan with them as well, or just throw the money?
Some parents just end up throwing the money at them because they have it. And I'm not saying anything bad about it. Like, it is really good that, you know, their parents are well off, and mashallah, that's really good, and you know, their kids are really well off as well because of them. But I feel like you can't, you know, as a child you can't be, or you know, as a 16-17-year-old, you can't be defined by what your parents have done, because later on in life you're going to be there by yourself. You're going to be there for your own achievements, and you know, you're going to be defined on what you've done, even though, you know, sometimes our actions reflect on our parents. A lot of what we do is going to be based on, you know, ourselves. It's going to come down to us, and it's going to be reflective of us, and that's why I think, you know, people who are well off, they should definitely you know, try to limit their kids in them terms, because sometimes, you know, you see a lot of rich parents and their kids become a bit, you know, they use it for the wrong type of stuff, and they abuse it sometimes.
Because the money's there.
And they abuse it because they're assuming that money is always going to be there, and that's something that, you know, parents should kind of detach from them.
Yeah, from research, it says that 9 out of 10 teenagers say that their parents are good role models. Where do you think that 1% lies? Is it what Osama said before? Some parents might, you know, lack of trust because they might start selling drugs, or you know, and therefore they don't want to give their children money. Where do you think that 1% lies?
I don't really think it's about being. I I don't really think it falls into the category of being rich or something, because the kids that have got rich parents, like the spoiled kids, they won't really think of their parents as bad role models and love them because they give them so much money.
Yeah.
But I think it just comes from just bad parenting, and maybe the kids who don't get the money from their parents, but maybe that's not bad parenting, it's maybe try to discipline the kid, try to show them how hard it is to actually earn money.
Yeah, even like as little kids, you know, when you go shopping with your parents, say if you see a toy or something, you force your parents to buy you it, and obviously you get it straight away. I'm not sure about you guys, but I did. Yeah. So what do you think about that? Do you think that that's do you think that's bad because as a child gets older, he'll know that, yeah, my mum got me this when I was younger. She got me everything I wanted. Do you think that's bad because as a child grows up, then you know that parents will buy it straight away for him?
I think that at a young age, you know, it's that age where, you know, if you don't, I guess, spoil your child, it's a bit wrong.
Or do you think there should be a limit?
There should be a limit, don't get me wrong. Like, you know, if your kid goes around buying everything in store, like saying, oh, I want that,
Yeah.
then it's definitely wrong, because, you know, you're giving that kid everything that they want, and they need to be taught that they're not exactly going to get everything that they want in life. But I think as a kid, you do need to be spoiled sometimes, just to know that, you know, your parents love you and, you know, they're there for you. Like, you do need to rely on your parents sometimes.
Yeah, just like even on Eid, obviously you get money from your grandparents, your aunties, your uncles, and it'll come to like 100 quid. What do you think about that money? Do you think that that's a good time to like save half of it and spend half of it?
It really depends on you and how old you are. If you're under like 12 or 13, 14, then I think it's okay to go and spend that money because you're young and you want to buy toys and you want to buy nice stuff. But if you're mature and you know that this money doesn't come easy, then I feel like you should invest it or put it into a savings account.
Yeah, Sam, what do you think?
Personally, what I do, I think it's a good idea. Like my parents, for example, they might take my brothers and sisters' money and say to them, "I'll save it for you. You can spend it." It's not like your parents are going to rob you, so they'll take it and they'll say, "Okay, this is your budget. You can spend on it." And mashallah, I'm blessed to have a mum where, like, for example, say there's something for £50, and I've got a £50 budget. She'll be like, "You know what? I'll put in £25 extra if it means." It just shows that parents do go for an extra limit, and that, like, I know, mashallah, my mum's like that, and I appreciate that. But people have stuff like that, and that I think is a good way of like controlling the money that's being spent and just knowing what your kid's spending on at the end of the day. A 12-year-old, say a 20-year-old comes up to him and shows him that there's a go-kart for say £100, and that kid's got £200 and it's worth £100. He says to him, "Oh, here, I'm going to sell you for £200. He's ripped him off straight away. So I think age-wise, I think once you get into secondary school in year 11 plus, then you should be able to be allowed to have your own money and stuff like that.
Yeah. So obviously we talked about money. Do you think that as you get older, you know, money becomes, you feel bad taking money off your parents, you know, especially like 16 years old, 17 years old, we feel like that you're supposed to have the responsibility of making your own money, and obviously it's very, very hard to find jobs around nowadays. So what would you do in that circumstance?
It's a good question. That jobs-wise, there's jobs everywhere. It depends what you like. Some people are picky and they'll say, "Oh, they don't want to work here, they don't want to work here." But then you've got to remember that you've got necessities. If you're not, it's like, and it's a wake-up call. The fact that if you don't do well in education, you're going to be having to look at these jobs like this. Like now, for example, waitering, you can get in, you don't have any qualifications as such. You are now to talk to customers, for example, stuff like that. But do you really want to become that when you're older? It's a job. It keeps you busy. It's something that keeps you going and stuff. But like, I wouldn't personally want to be a waiter as when I'm older, for example. It's not a job that I find appealing in the sense that I'd want to live and be set. When people ask what's your job title, I go, "I'm a waiter." I wouldn't really like that. So I think it's a big responsibility with money that, like, for example, job. I understand that if you feel bad that you're taking money off your parents, but your parents at the end of the day, if you're not going to ask for money off your parents, then who would you ask for? At the end of the day, they're your parents. They're meant to provide for you. And if your parents spend on you, it's even better than charity, some people say.
Yeah, sorry, I have to stop you there. Viewers, we're going to go for a short break, and we'll see you after the break. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.